Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to take a look at the July Smart Art Box, and let's see what we have this month. We have this brochure that is all about Cubism and Picasso, and let's see what supplies we get. First up, we have a bottle of Gamsol, which is a wonderful solvent for cleaning your paintbrushes, or actually it's really great for working with colored pencil and dissolving the colored pencil film so that you can like turn it into a paint and blend it and whatnot. So that's something that I have and I've used and I will definitely use, even if I don't end up using the other stuff in the box too much. We have a set of it says 4 markers, but it looks like there's 5 in there. 4mm oil paint markers. Yep, there's 5. There's primary colors and a white and a black. So artist oil based permanent opaque markers. We have a number 4 Da Vinci plein air bristle brush, and we have a canvas panel that looks like it's got some smudges on it, which is unusual. So I have to say I'm not a huge fan of Cubism. That's probably like one of my least favorite art movements. But I'm going to attack this project with the same gusto I do every month with these smart art boxes, and we will see what we can make. I'm going to go ahead and get these shaken up and primed and ready to go, and then I'll be back with my demonstration. This is the last marker I have to prime, so I just wanted to show you how to do it so that if you get this box and you're unsure, you know what to do. Shake up the marker, and you're going to see there's no ink in the tip right now. It's just kind of like a off-white, ivory, yellowish kind of color. Then you're going to just kind of pump the so I'm doing this on this cardboard so that it will catch any of the ink, but you're going to keep bouncing it, or you can even just hold it down, and it makes like it punctures, I think, whatever little film between the nib and the paint so it doesn't dry out in the store, and then it lets it flow and saturate the tip, and then you can draw with it. So I'm gonna be honest, I really did not know what to do with this. I still don't really know what to do with these, but I'm just going to, I guess I'm just going to doodle. I think that maybe I will do, maybe I'll turn around, maybe I'll do a face, do maybe like a cubist style angular face. I don't know. This, I'm not much of a marker person, and I definitely am not someone who, really likes the cubist style, but I think it's fun to sometimes go out of your comfort zone. So I'm just kind of doing angles instead of curves. I draw a lot of curves generally, so this definitely is out of my comfort zone. Let's do some blue eyes. Apparently I think cubist means really messy. I don't know. Grab some black. Maybe give her some teeth. I honestly, a little bit, just kind of perplexed as to what I was going to use this box for. Ooh, she got some angry eyes. She's mad. She's mad that she's being drawn with a bunch of angles. And I think there's also something you see a lot in the Cubism is like a sort of blending method where they take like a shape and then they just kind of blend the color out. So I'm going to try that. I'm just going to put down a little bit of the black, and then I think I'm going to put maybe some blue. And maybe some white, and then I think I'll use the Gamsol to blend it and see how that does. Now, Gamsol has no odor, so you do want to be careful because it has no odor. You could leave it open and it could bother you, so I would definitely, you know, make sure you close it when you're done. This brush doesn't appear to have any sizing in it, so I don't need to worry about it. I'm just going to try to tap some down because I don't want to contaminate my jar, and I don't have a little jar for oil handy, so I'm just going to try to dissolve this so I can blend it and see what happens. Boy, I'm not loving this, guys. I really am not. I only have one canvas in this kit though, so I guess I can pick it up out of the jar and it doesn't bother it. Yeah, I'm not loving this this project, to be absolutely honest. But it is something I've never used before. I've never used these markers, so I'm probably not putting enough marker for the blending that I want to do. So let me put some more in there. I was just kind of afraid I would use them up because it doesn't seem like there could be that much stuff in there. And maybe I should be scribbling this like on a palette and then picking it up so I get kind of like a watercolor effect, but it seems like that would be a kind of a silly way to use the markers. You know, if you're going to get these markers, it seems like that wouldn't be the most logical way to use them. So now let's try this. See if maybe if I go quicker after I've applied that, I can spread it around. I don't know. There is a project, I'll show you the project on the back of the pamphlet, that you can do along with the Smart Art team, and they definitely did this more like a coloring page, so they had smaller segments, and maybe I should have done something like that, but I was assuming, and you know what happens when you assume, but I was assuming that because they gave you the blending solution that they were going to blend out a little bit more. And this is such a small brush too. Boy, this just is not, this is not my comfort zone. This is definitely out of my comfort zone, which isn't a bad thing. But I'm feeling like it's taking me a long time just to get this fairly uninteresting hair painted. And I really feel like I'm soaking the canvas with the Gamsol, which I'm not sure is great. I'm gonna have a highly combustible piece of art when I'm done. All right, let's give this lady some crazy looking eyeballs, pupils. Yeah, now she looks more normal. Not. Okay, so I decided to see what it would be like to color an area in with just the markers. I feel like I can't go as fast with a marker as I want to, like it needs time to recharge or you need to pump it a little bit. But I was able to fill up the background with yellow pretty well. I mean, it did cover pretty opaquely. I didn't try blending it because I figured I already have the black on my brush. I'm trying to stick with what's in the kit. So I think that's fine. I do want to do something though with like the face, because I'm going to try to mix a little bit of skin tone, I think. So I've got this little piece of plastic packaging, because I save like packages things come in to just to reuse the plastic as palettes, so it just keeps it from going into the trash. And I'm going to try to mix a skin tone here. So I'm going to need mostly white, yellow, a little bit of red, a little bit of blue, and we'll see if we can come up with something that resembles skin tone here. And I'm going to put quite a bit of solvent in there just so that I can apply it a little bit like a watercolor. And that way I won't use up quite so much white, I don't think. I feel like I need a little more yellow in there though. Boy, I just don't know about this, guys. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm wasting your time playing with this project, playing with these supplies, but you know, I also think that sometimes it's good to see other people struggle, because then like if you're having a hard time with your box and you're like, geez, I'm just not getting it, it's just not for me, you know, you're not alone. Now I think that this will probably dry a little bit lighter because of all of the solvent I have in there. I'm letting it mix in with some of the eye crease color just to darken it, because I think I would have kind of a shadow there. I'll pick up some of that blue too. Oh, I just don't know. Go over here as well. I just feel like it doesn't go very far. And I honestly think, like, if I was to use these pens the most usefully, like the way I think that they would work the best, I would be using them, because look, I'm almost out of paint here after all that I mixed up. I would be using them as like accents on top of oil paintings, or maybe to sketch in on a canvas where I was going to do an oil painting on top, because using them in this fashion just feels really awkward and wasteful and frustrating, to be honest. But let me get these shadows in there, and oh. And reevaluate. Let me try coloring it. Maybe I should color the hair in a little bit more. Maybe that'll make it feel a little more complete. I'm really just not feeling it. I apologize, because I'm really just, I am feeling like this is just, it's like I went go-karting for the first time a couple weeks ago, and it looked like fun, right? And I got in the go-kart, and I've never been in a go-kart before, and I'm not a terribly good driver. And I did not enjoy it at all. I felt like I was just going so fast, and I felt out of control, and I felt like, well, everyone was passing me, and I was so afraid I was going to crash into somebody, because it was such an unnatural feeling. And that's what this medium feels like to me. It feels like driving a go-kart. It's like, no, I want to go slower. I feel reckless and out of control. I don't like it. And that's how this feels to me. But that's not to say the product is bad or that you won't like it. With the Smart Art boxes are always my first impressions, because I feel then you get kind of more of an honest take on what it's, you know, what to expect when you open these. And I do get a lot of comments that people really like, you know, just seeing what you do when you're just thrown these random supplies and you have to work with them, which I think is kind of fun too. I think it's fun to see people work with something they're not used to, like one of those craft competition shows where you get this box of supplies and you have to make something with it. I think that's really fun to watch, and that's what I've heard from most of my viewers. So that's why I do them. People seem to enjoy them. I think she should have blue eyebrows too. Okay, it's looking a little bit better. Let me color in the lips and see if that helps. And I don't feel like I'm definitely feeling like I don't want to put too much time into this, because I feel like there are some limitations with the medium and my style that I'm just not going to just really like it. I mean, it's so funny, because some projects, some of the boxes, I am just like, woohoo, this is awesome, I love this, never would have tried it, I'm so glad I did. And then other times you're like, this is not working out. I wish I didn't do that, but these are opaque, so I can go over that. I wanted to shade the top lip. I think this is an odd choice for Cubism. I think if I wanted a medium that I think you could explore Cubism, and I can understand why they use they chose the markers, because you can, you know, you're gonna by default end up with some hard lines, and that is definitely reflective in Cubism. It's definitely something that you see in Cubism, is some harsh lines and hard angles. But I think that I would, for a beginner, that might be new to Cubism or new to art in general, because Picasso, I don't believe, was using paint markers. He was using oil paints. I think I would do, if you couldn't do oil paints, because of complications or shipping or whatnot, I think I would do pastels. I think pastels would have been oil pastels or chalk pastels, soft pastels. I think those would have been a much more intuitive product to learn about Cubism. So, you know, if you're not a subscriber, because you can't always get the boxes afterwards because they don't always have extra, and you want to if you want to explore Cubism and you want to teach your kids about that art movement and about Pablo Picasso, I would recommend that you try it with pastels, because get like a student grade chalk pastels, so you know they're non-toxic, or Craypas oil pastel or something like that, and then show them about the mark making and the angles, and teach them about Picasso and this movement and George Braque and the other artists that were really influential. because I feel like I'm struggling with the medium here so much, trying to make it applicable to cubism, that I feel like you could struggle with the medium and miss the point of the lesson. But I am liking it. The more I treat this like an oil paint, the more I am enjoying it. But this is not a project I would do again. I will just be honest with you. So what I'm going to do here, and I don't think you need to see me do it on camera because I think it's fairly dull, I am going to mix up some more skin tone, a little bit lighter, less pink skin tone, and I'm just going to fill in the rest of the face and try blending it out, and then I'll come back for some details with you. I did discover if you hold the pen down, you push the nib in, you hold the pen down, then you can get out quite a bit of ink at once, so that's helpful to know. So that way, if you are mixing up a lot of color, it can go a little bit more quickly. I think my lady kind of looks like Cleopatra. Not a very flattering Cleopatra, but nonetheless, at least it's looking like something, which is better than it was the last time we spoke. So I'm just gonna, I guess, put some kind of finishing touches on here because I'm a bit at a loss. I don't really know. I don't have a vision in my mind's eye for this one. So I have to say this is probably one of my least favorite Smart Art boxes. I do love Smart Art. I think it's fun. I look forward to the boxes every month, and I always have a good time when I do the projects from the box, but this one was definitely out of my wheelhouse, and I felt very very awkward working with these products, to say the least. I think I'm gonna maybe just try putting in some highlighting, even though that's not really a cubist thing. I just think that it might, I don't know, it might improve things. But then again, it may not. I probably shouldn't. I probably should try to keep it cubist. Boy, I'm just really struggling, guys. Let me know what you think I should do to this in the comments below. I think what I'm going to do this is use it as a fire starter in my campfire tonight, because it is just so very frustrating. I can see why they did pick this for the cubist project, though, because as you're blending it out, you are getting some of those very similar brush strokes to what Picasso would get in some of his cubist works. But for me, it was such a frustrating medium to work with, and maybe it's not for other people. That's different strokes for different folks. Everybody's different, but for me, I found it just to be not my cup of tea. It reminds me of this, I think it was a Mel Brooks bit, where he was giving this backhanded compliment, and he says, "She's as pretty as a picture" by Picasso. And that's what I feel like about this poor woman that I have just painted. I feel like I did her no justice, and yeah, this is a hot mess. It's a hot mess. I have to be honest, I didn't have a great time painting it. I found it very frustrating to work in this style and with these materials. However, I could see definitely having these pens handy. I like that there was a primary variety, because sometimes they'll have like purple and red, and it's difficult to use those colors together. So for that, I like that there was a nice variety of colors. I will definitely use this bottle of Gamsol because it's my favorite solvent for blending colored pencils. I find it a little too pricey to clean my brushes with. I usually use just a regular odorless mineral spirits for that, but for blending, and anytime I'm working, like if I'm working upstairs in my office, I'll use this because I don't want to stink up the house, and I just make sure that I do cap it up and I don't leave it where kids or pets could get to it. So I'm definitely going to use these products again, not in this style, not as the basis of a project, but the nice thing about the Smart Art boxes is that you do get a variety of different things that you can always mix up and use together in other projects down the road. So if you would like to take a chance on a Smart Art box, click the link in the video description. They are a sponsor of this channel, and I do appreciate the support. I wish I could have done something better with their box this month, though. I apologize that it's not really that interesting, but it is what it is, and it was kind of fun and frustrating, but kind of fun. So I will put a complete list of the materials I used in the video description. There's not a lot, so it's pretty easy to follow along. Of course, you can follow along with whatever you have, but if you do want to subscribe to Smart Art Box, go to smartartbox.com to start your subscription today, or to check out some of their past boxes if you don't want to have a surprise. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Until next time, happy crafting!